If you think you've heard every birth story, wait until you hear what came out of that woman. What I delivered that night wasn't human. And the secret I kept almost destroyed us all. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this story will haunt you long after it ends. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. They say Mama Adanna's hands were blessed by the ancestors. For 30 years, she had delivered every child born in the village of Calabar, and not once had a mother or baby died under her care. The elders whispered that the goddess Allah herself guided Mama Adanna's fingers, that she could feel a child's heartbeat through the mother's belly, that she knew things before they happened. But even blessed hands can catch curses. It was during the harvest moon when the stranger came. Mama Adanna was grinding herbs outside her compound when she heard the dogs. Not barking, whimpering. Every dog in the village, all at once, like they'd seen death walking. Then she saw her. The woman stumbled through the village gates at dusk, heavily pregnant, covered in red mud that looked too dark to be just earth. Her wrapper was torn, her hair matted with leaves, and she clutched her swollen belly with both hands like she was holding something inside that wanted to escape. Chief Okonkwo and 3 elders surrounded her immediately, their faces hard with suspicion. "Who are you?" the chief demanded. "Which village do you come from?" The woman's eyes darted between them, wild and terrified. "My name is Kemi. I was traveling with my husband to my mother's village. 3 days ago, a snake, a black mamba." Her voice cracked. "He died. I've been walking ever since. Please, I have nowhere else to go." Mama Adanna moved closer, studying the woman. Something was wrong. Kemi's story sounded rehearsed, hollow. And there was something else, the smell, faint but distinct, like river water left too long in the sun. "Which village was your husband from?" Elder Namdi pressed. "Udi. In the east." Kemi's hand moved to a strange amulet around her neck, carved wood, twisted into shapes that had to look at too long. "Udi." Chief Okonkwo's eyes narrowed. "I know every family in Udi." "What was your husband's name?" Kemi's lips trembled. "Chikudi. Chikudi Okafo." The elders exchanged glances. Mama Adanna saw the light clear as day, the way Kemi's pupils dilated, the way her fingers tightened on that amulet, the way she wouldn't meet anyone's eyes. But tradition was tradition. A pregnant woman asking for shelter could not be turned away, no matter how suspicious her story. "You can stay in the guest house," Chief Okonkwo said finally, his voice cold. "Until the child is born. Then you leave." That night, Mama Adanna couldn't sleep. Her daughter Chioma had come to her, frightened. "Mama, I saw something." The stranger, Kemi, she was standing at the forest edge, talking to the trees. "And Mama?" Chioma's voice dropped to a whisper. Her belly was glowing. Like fireflies were trapped inside her. Mama Adanna wanted to dismiss it as shadows and moonlight playing tricks. But she'd seen the dog's reaction. She'd smelled that wrong smell. And she'd noticed something else. Every lie Kemi told, her belly seemed to pulse, as if something inside was responding to the deception. 3 days passed. 3 days of watching Kemi, of noticing how plants near her seemed to grow faster, how the well water turned slightly bitter, how children reported nightmares of something crawling on their ceilings with too many fingers. On the 4th day, the storm came. Thunder split the sky like the gods were angry. Lightning turned night into day. And in the guest house, Kemi's screams began. "Mama Adanna!" Young Amara, her apprentice, burst through her door. "The stranger, she's in labor." "But Mama, something's wrong." Her screams, they don't sound human. Mama Adanna grabbed her bathing bag and ran through the rain. Behind her, she could hear the entire village waking, dogs howling, chickens screeching in their coops. Inside the guest house, Kemi writhed on the mat, her body arching impossibly high. Her eyes had rolled back, showing only whites. The smell of river rot was overwhelming now, mixed with something else, burning hair, copper, and decay. Amara, water. Clean clothes. Mama Adanna knelt beside Kemi, pressing her hands to the distended belly. What she felt made her blood freeze. The baby inside wasn't moving like babies move. It was shifting. Folding. Like it had too many joints, too many limbs. And it was cold. Babies are warm in the womb, burning with new life. This thing felt like she'd plunged her hands into river water in the dead of night. Mama, I don't think we should, Amara started. We don't abandon women in labor. Mama Adanna snapped. But her hands were shaking. Kemi's eyes suddenly focused, black as midnight, and she grabbed Mama Adanna's wrist with impossible strength. Promise me, Kemi hissed through clenched teeth. Promise me you won't let them see. Promise me you'll keep the secret. What secret? What are you? Kemi's scream cut her off. Not a human scream. It echoed wrong, like it was coming from somewhere deep underground. And then the baby came. Mama Adanna had delivered hundreds of children. She knew what to expect: the rush of fluid, the crown of the head, the shoulders, the final push, the cry that announced new life. This was nothing like that. The baby slid out in one smooth motion, too easy, too fast. No cry. No sound at all. And when Mama Adanna lifted it, her breath stopped. At first glance, it looked human. Arms, legs, head. But the eyes, gods, the eyes. Too large, pupils vertical like a cat's, and they reflected the lamplight like an animal's. The skin wasn't just brown, it shifted, subtle movements of color like oil on water. The fingers were slightly too long, nails pointed and dark. And when it opened its mouth, the sound that came out was like wind through a hollow tree, empty and ancient. Amara dropped the water basin. The crash echoed through the room. No, she whispered. No, 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 she backed toward the door. Outside, every dog in the village began howling at once. A sound of pure terror. Amara, wait, Mama Adanna started. But the girl was gone, running into the storm, screaming. Kemi sat up, impossibly fast for a woman who'd just given birth. Her hand shot out, gripping Mama Adanna's arm. Listen to me, she gasped. 6 months ago, I was gathering herbs in the forbidden forest. The sacred forest where Mummy Water's shrine stands. I was desperate, my mother was sick, dying, and the herbs she needed only grow there. I knew the rules. I knew. But I went anyway. The thing in Mama Adanna's arms shifted, its two large eyes watching her with an intelligence that made her skin crawl. I wasn't careful, Kemi continued, tears streaming down her face. I stepped on something, the shrine, carved stones, offerings. I didn't mean to. I tried to fix it, but that night, something came to me. In my dreams. Or maybe I was awake. I still don't know. It was beautiful and terrible, and it spoke in the old tongue, and it said I had disturbed the balance. It said I would carry a child of 2 worlds until the debt was paid. Mama Adanna stared at the creature in her arms. It blinked slowly, then she could have sworn it smiled. My husband, Kemi sobbed. When he saw my belly growing, when he felt it moving inside me, he knew something was wrong. One night, he pulled up my wrapper while I slept, and he saw it moving beneath my skin. Shapes that weren't human. He ran into the forest, screaming. They found him 3 days later, 20 feet up a tree, his face frozen in terror. Not a mark on him. Just fear. Pure fear stopped his heart. The baby made that sound again, whined through hollow places. If the village finds out, Kemi whispered, they'll kill us both. Please. You're a midwife. You've delivered hundreds of children. What's one more secret? Please. Mama Adanna looked at the thing in her arms. Then at Kemi, young and terrified. Then at the door where Amara had fled. She thought of her reputation. 30 years without losing a mother or child. She thought of her duty to protect the village. She thought of her oath as a midwife to preserve life. And she made the worst decision of her life. Give me a cloth, she said quietly. A thick one. She wrapped the baby tightly, hiding its features, its eyes, its long fingers. She wrapped it until it looked like any newborn, swaddled against the cold. When Amara returned with Chief Okonkwo and half the village, Mama Adanna met them at the door, her face calm, her voice steady. The child is born, she announced. A boy. Small. Premature. He needs warmth and quiet. Chief Okonkwo pushed forward. Let me see him. Would you curse a newborn with your suspicion? Mama Adanna's voice was sharp. He's fragile. The mother nearly died. Give them peace. The chief's eyes narrowed, but he stepped back. No one questioned Mama Adanna. Not in matters of birth. But Amara wouldn't look at her. The girl stood at the back of the crowd, her face pale, her eyes accusing. That night, Mama Adanna lay awake, listening to the rain. She had lied. For the first time in 30 years, she had lied about a birth. And somewhere in the guest house, something that wasn't quite human made sounds that weren't quite crying. The next morning, old man Obi's goat gave birth to a kid with 2 heads. Both dead. 3 days later, the well water turned black for 6 hours. No explanation. A week after that, children began reporting the same nightmare, a baby crawling on the ceiling with too many joints, or watching them sleep, its eyes glowing like a cat's. Mama Adanna visited Kemi every day, and each time, her dread grew. The child was growing too fast. At 1 week old, it looked a month old. At 2 weeks, 3 months. And its features were becoming more pronounced, the eyes larger, the fingers longer, the skin shifting colors more obviously. It doesn't sleep, Kemi whispered during one visit. It just watches me. All night. Just watches. And sometimes. She swallowed hard. Sometimes I hear it whispering in a language I don't understand. And the plants in the room bend toward it when it speaks. Mama Adanna felt her world crumbling. Every day, more strange things happened. Crops near Kemi's hut grew impossibly tall but tasted wrong, bitter and metallic. Birds stopped singing near the guest house. The dogs wouldn't go within 50 feet of it. And Amara wouldn't speak to her. You saw what it was, her daughter Chioma confronted her one evening. Amara told me. She told everyone who would listen. Why did you lie, Mama? What did you bring into our village? I brought nothing. Mama Adanna's voice cracked. I delivered a child, as I have always done. That is my duty. Your duty is to protect this village. Chioma's eyes filled with tears. The ancestors blessed your hands to preserve life, not to shelter curses. That night, Mama Adanna returned to the guest house. She found Kemi sitting in the corner, the child in her lap. It was the size of a 6-month-old now, after only 2 weeks of life. Its eyes glowed faintly in the darkness. When it saw Mama Adanna, it smiled. A human smile on an inhuman face. It's getting stronger, Kemi said flatly. I can feel it. Whatever it's waiting for, whatever the debt requires, it's coming soon. What debt? Mama Adanna demanded. What does it want? I don't know. Kemi's voice rose in hysteria. The spirit never told me. It just said the debt must be paid. A life taken, a life given. Balance restored. The child's eyes fixed on Mama Adanna, and in that moment, she understood. It wasn't just a curse. It was a test. And she had already failed it by lying, by hiding, by choosing the easy path over the right one. The next morning, everything fell apart. Amara went to the village priest and confessed everything, the bath, the creature, Mama Adanna's deception. The priest went to Chief Okonkwo. Within an hour, the drums were calling an emergency council. Mama Adanna stood before the gathered elders and villagers, her head high, her heart pounding. "You have sheltered an abomination," Chief Okonkwo's voice boomed across the square. "You, who we trusted above all others. You, whose hands were blessed. You have brought a curse into our village and lied about it." She was a mother in need. Mama Adanna shot back. "What would you have had me do? Kill them both?" The child had done nothing wrong. It didn't ask to be born. "It isn't a child," Elder Nambi shouted. "It's a spirit creature. Look at what's happened since it arrived: dead livestock, poisoned wells, nightmares. The gods are angry." The crowd murmured agreement, their fear palpable. "Bring them out," someone shouted. "Let us see this creature." The crowd took up the chant. "Bring them out. Bring them out." Kemi emerged from the guest house, the child in her arms. She'd stopped trying to hide it. What was the point? It was too big now, too obviously wrong. She unwrapped it slowly, and the crowd gasped. The child was the size of a 1-year-old, though only 2 weeks had passed. Its eyes were huge, glowing faintly green. Its skin rippled with colors, brown, gray, green, shifting constantly. Its fingers were long and multi-jointed. And when it looked at the crowd, it smiled. A cold wind swept through the square, though the morning had been still. Then the child opened its mouth and spoke. The voice that came out was ancient, layered, wrong. It spoke in the old tongue, the language of the ancestors, then everyone understood. The debt must be paid. A life taken. A life given. The balance must be restored. The village elder who knew the old ways stepped forward, her face grave. "It speaks truth." The mother destroyed a sacred shrine. She took something from the spirit world. Now the spirit world demands payment. Either the mother returns to the forest and gives herself to them. She paused, her voice heavy. Or the village must offer one of their own. Silence fell like a stone. Mama Adanna felt something inside her break and reform, a harder and sharper. She had made the wrong choice 2 weeks ago. She had chosen the easy lie over the hard truth. But she could make a different choice now. She stepped forward. "I will go." The crowd erupted. "No. You can't. We need you." Chief Okonkwo raised his hand for silence. "Mama Adanna, you are too valuable. I kept the secret," she cut him off. "I brought this upon us. The guilt is mine. The debt is mine." Chioma broke through the crowd, tears streaming down her face. "Mama, no. Please. We'll find another way." Mama Adanna embraced her daughter, feeling her shake with sobs. "I have delivered life for 30 years, my child. Perhaps it's time I paid the debt I owe to death. The ancestors have been generous with me. Now I must be generous in return." Kemi tried to protest. "This is my curse." "No," Mama Adanna said firmly. "The moment I chose to hide the truth, I made it mine. This is the path I must walk." At dawn, they prepared for the journey. Mama Adanna, Kemi, and the child walked toward the forbidden forest, followed at a distance by the entire village. No one spoke. Even the birds were silent. The forest was dark, ancient, suffocating. Trees older than memory twisted overhead, blocking out the sun. The deeper they went, the colder it became, until Mama Adanna could see her breath misting in the air. They reached the shrine, or what was left of it. Broken stones, shattered offerings, the remains of something sacred treated carelessly. Mama Adanna knelt and began rebuilding it with her bare hands, placing each stone carefully, reverently. "Mami Wata," she called out to the darkness. "I am Mama Adanna. I have brought life into this world for 30 years. I have honored the ancestors. I have kept my oaths. But I failed in this. I chose fear over truth, secrecy over honesty. I am ready to pay the debt. Take me. Release them. Let the village have peace." The child began to glow, its form becoming translucent. Kemi gasped as her body started to fade as well, becoming see-through, like looking through water. Then a woman's voice echoed through the trees, beautiful and terrible. The child was never an abomination, midwife. It was a bridge between worlds, sent to teach, and you treated it with fear. But you. The voice seemed to wrap around Mama Adanna like water. You chose sacrifice over safety. You chose truth over comfort, even when it came late. You have restored the balance. The child transformed into pure light and dissolved like morning mist. Kemi solidified again, fully human, the curse lifted. She collapsed to her knees, sobbing. Mama Adanna felt darkness closing in, pulling her down. This was it. This was the price. She closed her eyes, ready. But then, light. Warmth. The smell of her own compound. She woke in her bed, Chioma sitting beside her, 3 days later. The village had returned to normal. The wells ran clear. The nightmares stopped. The dogs no longer cowered. Kemi had returned to her home village, free of the curse, free of the spirit child. But Mama Adanna was different now. Changed. She still delivered babies, but she told every new midwife she trained the same thing. Sometimes the hardest births are the ones that teach us the most. Sometimes what looks like a monster is really a mirror showing us our own fear. And sometimes the only way to preserve life is to be willing to sacrifice your own. Years passed. Mama Adanna grew old, her hair white, her hands still steady. She sat with her granddaughter one evening, teaching her the old ways. When the girl asked, "Grandmother, is it true? Did you really deliver something that wasn't human?" Mama Adanna smiled, but her eyes were distant, looking at something the girl couldn't see. "I delivered something caught between two worlds," she said softly. "And I learned that humanity isn't defined by what you look like. It's defined by the choices you make when facing the unknown." The girl nodded, satisfied, and ran off to play. But Mama Adanna sat there as the sun set, remembering eyes that glowed in the dark, fingers too long and multi-jointed, a smile that was both human and not. And deep in the forbidden forest, at the restored shrine where fresh flowers appeared every morning though no one saw who left them, something watched the village with ancient eyes. Because the debt was paid, yes. The balance was restored, yes. But some bridges, once built between worlds, are never fully destroyed. They just wait. In the darkness. Watching. And one day, when the time is right, when another debt is owed or another shrine is broken, they return. The truth is, Mama Adanna never told anyone what the spirit whispered to her in those final moments in the forest. The words that made her blood run cold. The prophecy that kept her awake every night for the rest of her life. The child will return, midwife. Not in your lifetime. But 7 generations hence, when your blood walks the earth again, the bridge will be rebuilt. And this time, no one will be there to pay the debt. Mama Adanna's great-great-great-great-great-granddaughter was born last month. And the midwife who delivered her reported something strange. The baby's eyes, they reflected the light. Just for a moment. But long enough. If this story left you breathless, smash that like button and subscribe because we have more terrifying folktales coming your way. Drop a comment below. Would you have kept Mama Adanna's secret, or would you have told the truth from the beginning? And if you dare, share this story, but don't say I didn't warn you about the nightmares. The bridge between worlds is never truly broken. It only sleeps. And something is waking up.